What is up, people, and welcome back. Right, so we need to get onto the booster. So what we're going to do first of all to get this thing ready to race is we're going to get this front end off out of the way, and we're going to get the bodies off so we can get that one body out so we can start modifying it for the blipper and the air takeoff. I'm going to take them, do it all on the one, I think. We're going to whip this off, whip these off, fuel lines can come off. I'm going to put the new regulator on as well, may as well. Knock up a couple of new lines and we'll go from there. Right, so this front end's a piece of pizzle to get off. Chin comes off, 6 bolts, 2 clips, she's out of the way. Right, so I'll do that now. Got it apart, and basically I can't get these off. There's little hand keys on them, but they don't seem to want to move, so I'm guessing they've been on there for quite some time. So we can't really risk breaking them before I need the car. So what we need to do then is we need to open up this hole here to get that through. Yeah, and we've got plenty of this on the back, this like little stop thing. So what we've got to do is we need to see if I can get it. We need to maintain this gap here by using this material here. So basically I need to run a mill in. I've got some small mills just to get this over, because I don't want to drill straight through because it's going to make this side a bit thin. All I want to do is just take the threads out this side, if you understand what I mean. Because the original screw, this one, I looked at it and I think this one is a 0.7, yeah, and this one is not. This one is a 0.5. So we'll go to 0.5. Stay on. See? This is 0.5. So the threads aren't that far off, but we still need to turn that thread out of there. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to set this up in the mill and start attacking that. Hopefully we can get in with the mill quite simply or quite easily. We'll find a rough center. It's not going to be rocket science, it's only a bolt that pushes on the thing. So we'll find a rough center, work out the dimensions of what this is. So this is that's an M4 and we're going up to an M5. Yeah, so there's not much in it really. It's half a mil. So we'll get that modded and then we'll tap it, and then this, as you say, look, there's loads of room there for it to fit, you know what I mean? It's plenty. Right, let's get cracking. Let's get on the mill. Right, so if we look at my chart, I know, because on my chart I've got M5 by 8, which is a 4.2mm drill. I know the M4 0.5 is a 4.5mm drill bit. It's a very fine thread, so it doesn't need as much to cut into. Right, and what we've got at the minute is an M4 by 7, which is 3.3. So we need to go from a 3.3 to a 4.5. So what's that, 1.2? Yep, so we know we've got to go 1.2mm bigger. I can go a millimetre that way. And then the 0.2 is going to come this way, which should clean up them threads. Or I might even go a touch more. I'm trying to think how I can measure the depth of this thread. Well, it's more like 1/2 mil, that is, by the looks of it. I'll measure that anyway and we'll work it out. But I want to go as far that way as I can. So yeah, let's figure that out, shall we? Right, so what I've done here is I've put in between 2 V-blocks. He's resting on the vice. And then I've got me Digi Neville. And then we've gone across. And then we've gone that way. To get it sort of, I mean, I know it's only an idle screw, but we need to try and make it as good as we can. Then for centering, I have got something that I've put somewhere there. This. It's for your taps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm going to use it to find the centre of said hole. And first of all, I'm going to move this heated windscreen away from the end of the machine. Ideally, this needs to go in a minute, but put that there. What I'm doing here is just carefully finding the centre of the hole. Yeah? What I'm doing is looking at the gap around the tool. You want to get an even gap. That is pretty close. We're nearly touching all the way. So that there, to me, is the middle. Right, so now we've swapped over to our 4.5 drill bit. We're going to slowly ease it through. Put some power on, find some spectacles. And what I did there is I did in fact bump it over 1/2 mil. I wasn't going to, it looked really close, so I thought play it safe, just bump it over 1/2 mil. So we did. Check that out. See? This back in. So right, as well then, we need to drill one of these out. I'm going to drill one of these sacrificial ones out here. So we can put a vacuum take off on it. It's close to the middle. So, we want to get a 2.5 mil. What size shall we drill it out to? As this one's not that important, we'll just use a chuck. Right, so I'm going to put an M6 with a 3mm vacuum takeoff. So I've decided, yeah, what have I done with, oh, I'll tell you what, yeah. We'll just pop that through, we're going to take a look. Beautiful. So what we'll do now, if you've got to get them out, get out and tap them. Which is, I might do it in here whilst it's clamped. Nice and square. Doesn't take a lot of threads. Well, it doesn't take a lot of cutting even. I suppose it is only a tiny, tiny, tiny thread. I'll get the other tap. I've got the bottom one as well. What I'll do is I'll run that all the way through once it's out, so I can't, this is stuck at the minute. It's like a nice thread though. Right, M6 next. So that one, I've tapped it pretty much to the end of that showing. That there, yeah? So we can run it down to it. So it won't go all the way through. Yeah? Right. So right then people, skipped ahead a little bit. Because it's just what you saw anyway. Basically, I've put them back together. Now, what you might notice is that's drilled out. This is a different body. I've swapped these two. Basically, I drilled this. Remember I said it was 4.5mm in there. And I threaded it. And it was too loose. It would have worked, but I weren't happy with it. So I swapped this body with this body. Drilled this out to a 4.1. It was too tight, 4.2. And now it is beautiful. So our takeoff is still going to be on here. But our blip has got to be there. But now I've done that, these all need balancing again. So I've put them on, I've put the new rubber donuts in, and I'll show you why I've had to change them. You see how they're splitting? It's common with them. They just split really bad. This one like split near enough all the way through. So that one's not too bad. Little mark there, but it's not actually split. So That one will go in the toolbox as a spare. And I think that one can go in as well as a spare. So yeah, we'll keep them to a spare and these to a scrap. So I'll take these now before I forget about them. Put them in the toolbox with the booster bits. Right, so they're back on now. So before I want to balance them, because I want to balance them before I finally fit the thing, because I need to cut the pin down a little bit, and then I need to work out how much space I've got underneath my plate and to where my bonnet fits. I'm hoping I can get it. See how the plate's on here, isn't it? So I want to get it as far up and then as far back as I can, because my bonnet, yeah? Right, so what we need to do now is change the regulator, which is a pipe underneath, pop the top off, make a new bracket, and then put the new regulator on, knock up some new lines. Even though these are Torx fittings and everything, I'll just knock them up to black so it matches this. Also, we need to make this. I've already found my bolt. This is my bolt I'm going to use. Stainless. So what I'm going to do is chop the head off. And then I will grab it in the chuck reversed like that. I'm going to drill straight away through. And then work out that length of thread we need. And then I'm going to take the thread off a little bit at the end so it pokes through. I'll show you on, I don't know whether you'll see. Oh, you might do. No, you're not going to see it. See it there on the left? That's the other one. Well, this one I want it to poke through a little bit more so it catches a bit more air. So yeah, we're going to chuck down the, we'll do this first. Chuck this in the vise. Chuck it in the lathe, chop the top off, drill it out, do the end, bish bash bosh, and it'll be done. Right. Right, so that's done. As I say, it's just a bolt with a nut on, drilled through. Gonna put a copper washer on there so it seals up. We can chop this down at a later date if we decide we want it a bit shorter, but we'll see how it runs with the line on it. You know what I mean? It's going to be a tight fit, which is what I want. You know what I mean? I've got to find somewhere to mount this as well. I think that'll be okay. Nice and long so we don't get any air. Yeah, that'll be fine. That should be sealed now. Beautiful job. That's that little job done. I need to put my blanking plug on the back one until I get my Scott oil sorted. Throttle cable's on. Injectors can go back on. And the TPS. Done. Air temp sensor's got to go on, but that can wait. So right, what we need to do now then, fuel pressure regulator. So take the rest of these hoses off. So out of the way. Bit of spillage. Never hurt anybody. needs to evaporate quick enough. I think what I need to do is make up a new bracket that's a bit taller. Yeah? So let's have a go at that, shall we? Right, so these are on, that's back on. Well, not back on, that's on. It's a new type of fitting, this is. I've never used one of these before. Apparently they're quite good for stopping vibration. So we'll see how that works. So that's about it. I think I'm going to cut this down a bit. It's a bit long. But I think I'm going to leave it off there. And in the next one, we'll do the new lines, chain, and we've got to balance the throttle bodies. So this video is going to be long. I'm trying to keep them short. Right then. So there we go, people. A little bit of work done. And I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.